Ms. Severino, do you have health insurance yourself?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Casey, are you covered by a group health insurance policy?
I'm sorry, by...
Or by a group health insurance policy?
Yes, I am.
And Mr. Bradbury, are you also covered by group health insurance?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to put a chart up and ask Mr. Dellinger, are you covered by health insurance, sir?
Mr. Doggett, I'm eligible for Medicare, thank you.
Well,
Thank you for the compliment of thinking I was still on.
I'm impressed by that, as I am by all of your testimony, and you really made the point of this chart, but I wanted to demonstrate it graphically because all three of the experts who have offered insight this morning that were summoned here at the request of our Republican colleagues are in the same situation as 98.8% of the American people, in that they will not have to pay the tax of which they complain. And you've just pointed out, again, a really big segment of our population, Mr. Dellinger, who, like yourself, there is not a single person who is on Medicare or about to come on Medicare by the time that this act becomes fully effective who would be subject to this tax, right?
That is correct.
And anyone who's covered by a group health insurance policy, whether public or private employer, they won't be affected by this tax.
I have always been struck by the notion that this relatively modest incentive to have insurance coverage was seen as the sort of end of liberty as we know it. If you go to work in the economy and you earn $18,000 a year and are subject to federal income taxes and FICA taxes, you're told you have to pay 7.5% for Social Security for your old age sustenance. You're told you have another percentage to pay for Medicare for your health care after 65. And if you don't have insurance coverage, you're going to have to pay up to 2.5% as an additional sum to be paid. Why would anybody look at that and say, well, the 7.5% for Social Security is fine, the percentage for Medicare is fine, but this last percentage I would have to pay is the end of liberty as we know it, and I'm going to have to move to another country. You know, I welcome your presence, let me say for myself, in the United States, and hope that you remain and engage in these debates.
Well, Mr. Dellinger, your point is so significant, and you have made it previously that while the names may have changed on the groups, the same crowd, the same thinking that opposed Social Security, that opposed Medicare, is the same crowd that is out there opposing the Affordable Health Care Act, even though less than 2% of the American people would be directly affected by what Justice Roberts, President Bush's appointee to the Supreme Court, said was a tax rather than a penalty. Now, with reference to that tax, I understand Mr. Bradbury's testimony to be that even for the less than 2% of the people that are covered, the tax is so low, so modest, that Congress may choose to raise it in the future. Is it overall, it is, I believe, in the first year, your testimony, $95 is the total amount of the tax if you're among the 2% who choose not to buy insurance even though you have the capacity to afford it and prefer to shift your health care cost to somebody else?
That's correct.
And with reference to the estimate, of course, of 1.2%, that was done by the Independent Congressional Budget Office on the final bill as it became law after it passed the Senate. So perhaps it goes up or goes down a little bit. It is only an estimate, but it is a very small number of people that are affected, and I yield back.
Thank you.